Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. My name is Brent with Investing on the Go, and today we're going to be diving into the latest market rally of the S&P 500, Dow Jones, and the Nasdaq that have all surged today on Monday, March 24th, 2025. We're going to go ahead and cover some news of the, what's fueling this rally and kind of go into some other individual stuff, right? So with that said, if you guys are brand new here, definitely go down below, hit that button to subscribe, give this video a big old thumbs up if you find it helpful, and let's go ahead and get into the video. Right off the bat, I like to start all of these videos by taking a look at their Fear and Greed Index because this kind of indicates investor sentiment. Here we can see that we're in fear. Last week when I did the same video, there was a lot of fear out there in the market. We were at 22, which was in the extreme fear category. That's obviously changed here recently, mostly in the volatility. We can see market volatility is now showing neutral. The VIX has came down from a high of around 28 all the way down now below that trend, that 50-day market average, 50-day market average to now a 17.48. So there's a lot less volatility. Tariffs have hit. That uncertainty affected the market very short term, right? That back and forth that took place between Mexico, Canada, China, Europe, tariff talk, but a lot of that's kind of been pushed off a bit until April 2nd. We'll go ahead and chatter about that here in just a minute, but that overall volatility that has been taking place over the last month or so, yeah, we're on March 24th, so it started right around, I believe, the 29th or 19th. I'll take a look at it here in just a second, but it's definitely been downtrending from there. So market volatility is definitely looking better. Really quickly, we can see Dow Jones today on Monday is up 1.42%. The Nasdaq is up a whopping 2.27%. And the S&P 500 is up a whopping 1.76%. So across the board, everything is very nicely moving to the upside. There was a huge gap up, about 1% between close on Friday and open today. So if I take a look here on Friday, the market closed at 5,666.95. On Monday, it opened at 57.18, so that was a gap up of roughly 0.9% or 1%. And then throughout the day, it continued to trend higher, roughly 0.87%. I would like to see that refilled, so any sort of talks of tariffs will add a little bit of volatility out there, which is expected. I would like to see it come back down, fill that gap, and then bounce and then move higher. But we'll kind of see how that plays out. This is kind of a same thing. Shows Dow Jones up 1.42, the Nasdaq 2.27, the S&P 1.76, and then VIX has definitely been coming down on the day, 9.37. You can see it sitting at a 17.48. Silver and gold. Gold sitting at $3,018.50. Silver has came down off $34. Oh boy, I just clicked on the button. Okay, silver is sitting at $33.57. And a bit of an update from last week where I made a video going over the silver that I had. I had roughly 60 ounces of silver that was just kind of sitting around in my closet. And yes, that volatility on silver goes up and down. And right now it's at a 10-year high of nearing $34, where just a few years ago it was between $14 and $16. I wanted to move out of a physical asset, move my cash into the market. So I was able to get a spot price of $33.78, and they took $2 in premium for selling each ounce. They took $2 of premium per ounce. So in total, right, it's like $30 that they took out of the total in order to, I don't know, that's crazy the amount there, but I don't like dealing with that physical stuff just because of the premium you're paying up front and the premium you're paying when you're selling. I just wanted to have it all in stock markets, right? So that's what I've done there. Jumping over into, we've already kind of talked about the gap up here. Let's take a look at the individual companies on the day. So one day on Monday, we see Apple up 3.15, Apple up 1.13, not as much as some of the others, right? I did do a big transition within my accounts. I sold out of all of my Apple, transitioned over to Meta. I believe long term, Apple has been kind of, I feel like it's kind of, it's not, it's going to continue growing, It's just that that growth is going to be slowed, right? It's a $3 trillion company at this point versus Meta. That I feel like the Meta is just going to have more growth opportunity in the future versus Apple. It's gonna do well, but it just won't have that growth that Meta will. Amazon up 3.59, Tesla up a whopping 11.93% on the day, and Google 2.21%. We saw financials across the board doing very well. We did see some negative stuff within utilities, healthcare. That could be due to some tariff talk in the future. They're going to be implementing some tariffs. We'll go ahead and talk about that in just a second. But let's talk about the good news first. So good news, stock surges as investors react to the latest news on tariffs. Tesla jumps almost 12%. So I highlighted a couple areas here. We'll go ahead and discuss. Stocks rose sharply higher on Monday as investors digest reports that the Trump administration could reduce the scopes of tariffs that are scheduled to be imposed next week on Wednesday, I believe the 2nd. Yep, the 2nd of April was Wednesday. The S&P 500 jumped up on that news. So it's not going to be as broad. It's going to be very specific. The market extended a recent recovery from the sell-off from highs to lows of around 10%, mostly because of concerns of potential for impact, for the impact of tariffs. And then here's the portion. Investor sentiment got a boost this morning from Wall Street Journal report that said the White House could exclude certain sectors, including semiconductors and automobiles, from a wide-ranging tariff that are scheduled to go into effect on April 2nd. Trump later said that industry-specific tariffs would be coming in the very near future, while adding that some countries would be given a break from the tariff. So things, for example, here is while they are planning to potentially target automobiles, maybe they won't be targeting automobiles from every country. Maybe countries that impose tariffs on us, such as Europe, could have other tariffs imposed on their vehicles being imported, such as any sort of European brands and stuff like that. Classic hardcore. That's right. Okay, let's take a quick look here and jumping over to now the negative news. Some of the negative stuff that could be upcoming in the future. President Donald Trump did say that they will soon be announcing tariffs against targeting automobiles, pharmaceuticals. Also included in that list will be lumber and semiconductors. So here is where pharmaceuticals could be targeted, which is why I believe here, if we look at healthcare and overall, we see Pfizer, AbbVie, Merck all down 0.5% or more within the discussions here kind of going on. I kind of re-highlighted some of the same things. So President Donald Trump on Monday said he would soon announce tariffs targeting automobiles, pharmaceuticals, and other industries, signaling his plans to pile more sweeping duties on top of his forthcoming tariffs. So he also hinted that tariffs on autos may be announced before tariffs kick off. And there's no specific thing, but we should know prior to April 2nd. So over the next week and a half or so, there'll be some discussions. There'll be definitely some volatility, I feel, with automobiles and pharmaceuticals. So if you own any individual companies, you could have already taken a hit today if you own some of these pharmaceuticals out there, or you could be taking a bigger hit as the actual announcement takes place, right? So just some stuff to know there. I did want a quick update here. I did swap from SCHD back on March 14th of 2025 for the VU. So here we can kind of see, as of the point that I transitioned from SCHD to VU, SCHD has gained 1.63% in that same time frame. VU, which tracks the S&P 500, has gained 2.31%. I feel like this is going to be better in line with my overall target. So SCHD, it's a great ETF in general, but right now I'm not trying. It's in a retirement account, so I can't use that capital anyways to live off of. It's mostly would be used to reinvest into itself. And at this point, dividend versus growth, it could be stalled out by investing in some of the slower growing companies. So what I did is kind of transition from SCHD, which still has good growth potential, but just not as much into, say, the S&P 500. So all I did was kind of just transition that portfolio a bit around for growth versus dividends. I'm not going to touch those dividends anyway, still on 59.5. So that is the update there. Nothing big. I probably won't mention this portfolio a whole lot anymore, just because there's not a whole lot going on with it anymore. It's just a boo, right? And let's jump into the individual. So this article here talked about many individual companies kind of boosted on the day. In the past week or so, I targeted NVIDIA and Microsoft as having death crosses. You know, both NVIDIA and Microsoft were both showing signs that the 50-day moving average was moving under that 200-day moving average, meaning that potentially, throughout history, whenever that took place on both of the companies that we saw over the 10-year period, they would normally fall further than they were currently at. Now, recently with today, they kind of got a boost. We saw Microsoft and both NVIDIA both getting a bit of a boost there. So I went ahead and took every single ticker within here that had been actually hit pretty hard recently and added them into my chart. So we'll go ahead and take a look at these individually. And I do believe I would like to see the market fill this gap up. Here we closed Friday and gapped up 1%. I would like to see us pull back down, but I don't know if it'll take place, like a double bottom, right? If we take a look here at Tesla, see this little double bottom that took place? This is pretty healthy. It came down to what? 250, 60-ish point, right? And it kind of hit that support trend back from November 2024. And then it went up a bit, fell back down, retested higher than that past low, and now it's gaining. So this is kind of a healthy move right here. Not the whole nearly down 50%, but this healthy bottoming out period where, hey, now we got a bottoming out. This is going to be a pretty good opportunity. It's not near that 200-day crossing underneath that 200-day. Sorry, the 50 days not crossing under that 200-day. So it's not in a sort of negative downtrend, but I do like this double bottom. It's not very uncommon. It's not very common that we hit a triple bottom. So I do believe that Tesla could begin showing signs of recovery or even kind of trending sideways just a bit, either a month or could be, right? There are periods where it just kind of bounces around before moving either higher or lower. Let's take a look at the 5-year real quick. Yeah, you can see here, there's little instances where there's a higher double bottom and it goes higher. But what takes place afterwards, it just really depends on what happens, what kind of news is going to be out there for Tesla. So NVIDIA was one I had been worried about, falling with the recent movement of the 50-day crossing underneath that 200-day moving average. There's nothing kind of showing signs that it's going to do any sort of recovery play at the moment. It did fall below its recent low back in looks like maybe February 2025. Here it dipped below its past low. This is generally a downtrend. So I will still be eyeing NVIDIA. While today, yes, it popped up very nicely, right? It popped up 3.15. It's not out of the woods yet. It's still trading below that 200-day. It may use that 126 line, that descending 50-day moving average, as a resistance point. So it hasn't even pushed above that. So we'll kind of be eyeing that one. Amazon here. Amazon's done really well. That actually broke above its 200-day moving average at 203.06 and can continue higher. I would like to buy Amazon. I just don't want to spread too much of my capital too thin right now. But I would like to own Amazon. Amazon and Meta would be my two picks, my two long-term picks right now. If I were to just buy two companies and pour $10,000 into each and just kind of let them sit over the next 5 or so years, 5-10 years, I would definitely choose Amazon and Meta to kind of lead versus the others. Meta here definitely didn't fall below that 200-day moving average. It did find a bit of a bottom here. Just, lows as of January 2025. It's not even lows. It's just where it was at. So it lost everything it had gained throughout the year. And then let's go look at year to date. Yeah, it had lost everything it had made year to date, but it is showing signs of recovery. It did have a triple bottom, and even moved kind of in a negative trend. But I don't know. I'd have to watch this one as well. I do believe that this will kind of continue moving higher. They don't have anything to do with the tariffs that are recently taken effect. I think you're just kind of caught in the middle of the market. Apple did drop very significantly, like a huge drop recently, right? It fell from nearly $240 to nearly $210 right off the bat. It has been making some recovery. We'll see if it's able to break above that $228 point, or if this 50-day moving average continues to trend lower and lower, and also puts Apple into the crosshairs of a potential death cross. Microsoft, we saw the death cross already take place here back early on. It's been on a downtrend here today. It did take a bit of a break, but it's going to be using that 408 as resistance potentially moving forward. So this is kind of one, along with NVDA, that I'm kind of eyeing to see, will they break down? It really just depends on how the next couple weeks go, next month goes. It's going to play out. Something's going to play out pretty interesting with these companies. Google out there, lower. It's having some technical difficulties with Google there. It does seem like it found a bit of support within this area, so it might trend and kind of zigzag as it has been doing in the past before moving higher. But yeah, I don't see a lot of news out there with Google. Let me take a look here at my notes. Yeah, I don't have anything written down for Google. NVIDIA beat Q1 estimates driven by AI demand, which is pretty normal. So nothing big there. Amazon, bullish guidance update, major expansions in cloud computing services. So yeah, Amazon is just cloud computing really right now. They're just very strategic in their expansion, which is great in the cloud. Meta, let's see here, impressive advertising revenue growth and optimistic outlook in VR investments. They've been doing really well there. So yeah, they don't have a lot of negative chatter within them. Moving on, Broadcom, I don't have anything news-wise on them. They were just in the article. They did trend lower here, hit that 200-day, using as support, and kind of, trending along it. This could hold strong. This could be a good buying opportunity. You can see here over the last year or so, every time the price has dipped near that 200-day moving average. It never quite broke it, but it used it as support before rebounding higher. Take a look at that 5-year real quick. Yeah, you can see it's very uncommon for that price to dip below the 50, not the 50-day, but that 200-day moving average. You can see here there was a death cross taking place here in 2022. When that 50-day cross underneath that 200-day, it did downtrend for a short time before rebounding here. We had that golden cross. 50-day went over the 200-day, and we have a very, very long uptrend here where it's kind of sitting out right now. It looks like a pretty good positioning point, but you can kind of see throughout history, it just doesn't trend below that 200-day moving average. Palantir, this one's been big on investors who bought this one up, and it spiked above 120. I saw a lot of investors diving into this one that they're going to be adding more money into their portfolio after that spike, but it came down very quickly right after that. It did do a really nice recovery on today. So if we look at the 1 day, let me go look at percentage here. So percentage-wise, over the day or so, it went up nearly 6% on the day. Over the last 5 days, yeah, it's up 9.95% over the last 5 days on Palantir. So just overall, I don't own this one. I don't think I've owned this one at all in my time. It's not one that I myself have invested in or wanted to invest in, but I have seen a lot of other investors buying into that one. AppLovin, another one that was in this article here. So let's see, the market performer AppLovin, 2 AI investor favorites that were hit hard during a recent rout, rose 6 and 8%. So AppLovin rose 8%. I'm not familiar with this company. I just saw it in the article. I took a look at it. It's interesting, but I just don't know a whole lot on it. You can see over the last 1 year, it's up really nicely. Let's go look at the 1 year here. It's up 376% over the last 1 year. So it's just an insane gain on the year. But I'm not familiar with the company. If you are familiar with AppLovin, would you let me know down in the comment section below? Does anybody out there invest in it? AMD, this was one that was shared out by Jeremy, the financial education channel. He had been pouring money into AMD. They're a good competitor to, say, NVIDIA. They're not like a high GPU, CPU. They kind of backed off competing against NVIDIA for the high end, but they're going for that mid mark. So I use an AMD card in my computer. I use, let's see, I think I have to look. I have a Ryzen. What is it? So I've purchased them in the past, and I don't always buy NVIDIA. 7000. Yeah, AMD Ryzen 7000 series is what I use on my PC. And, you know, you can see downtrend for the last year. They're down, let's see here. They are down for the 1 year a whopping 36%. They are beginning to spike up. I don't know if this is because of some recent news or here YouTube news that money's pouring into it. But it has actually trended above that 50-day moving average. Here we had that death cross, right? A big indication that it's going to move to the low side is death cross took place. It did have a little bit of recovery, but it dropped, recovered, and dropped again. This could happen with Microsoft and NVIDIA. We don't know. It's gonna be like a six month or year outlook where we're gonna see what takes place here. But you can see what took place here with AMD. That death cross took place. It did try to make some recovery plays, but it just didn't work out and downgraded, and hit a low of around $95 before ticking to the upside. We'll see if this continues trending higher because of business news or because of other news online strategy. Not a company I'm familiar with. Hit a double bottom, lower double bottom before crossing back over. So this one seems to not have touched that 200-day moving average, and then just quickly recovered above the 50-day and moving higher. I'm not familiar with strategy. It's a really interesting ticker because it's MSTR, which there's no M in the name. So kind of interesting to, oh wait, what was this one? This was one different. They changed, hold on, what was it? Shares of Strategy, MSTR, formerly known as MicroStrategy. There we go, MicroStrategy, and the world's largest corporate holder of Bitcoin. So there we go. That is what it is. And we have Robinhood. Everyone knows Robinhood. It did a huge, it dropped down huge. I forgot what it was that took place. It may have been earnings that took place here, but they dropped from over $60 a share to well below $40. Now kind of recovering at $48.40. I don't know if this article made much as far as, they didn't point out what caused the recovery there. And then Coinbase also has done a nice recovery here in the short term. Bitcoin hit a low of 79,000 recently. It's now trading up around 86,000 at the moment, I believe. Bitcoin price, it is 86,000. Yes. So Coinbase, I use Coinbase. I don't trust a lot of other ones anymore. But I've been sticking with Coinbase now as my crypto platform broker. And I don't invest in coin itself, but it's definitely been an interesting trip watching this specific company. They've been on a bit of a interesting ride throughout the last 5 years, fall into lows of around $80, and now look at them today, $203.08. So really, really interesting, right? I don't know. So yeah, as I said, if I were to put money into two companies, I myself would buy into Amazon and Meta long term. I feel like they're in really good positions with cloud computing, cloud storage, all of that's taking place. I feel like Microsoft would be in the same boat with Azure, but most people just use Amazon more. I don't know. And then Meta, they don't have much negatives to them. They're just they produce ads. People pay for the ads. Lots of people use them. Lots of people see their ads. They're just a money maker there in the making. Now, quick highlight I want to kind of showcase here, talking about Robinhood. So, the two things here I want to chat about was that I've seen multiple brokers offer this now. I will have links down in the description below. SoFi offers you $25 for making an account with $25, but the thing that I've been looking at here recently is that a lot of brokers are now offering a match on your investment deposits. Now, what I saw here with SoFi is that you get 1% match on all reoccurring investment deposits. So if you're depositing capital, this is not a specific thing to your IRA or Roth IRA. This is just a straight 1% match. The sky is the limit on any sort of reoccurring deposit. So if you're depositing, for example, you're depositing $7,000 divided by 52 weeks in a year. That's going to be roughly $134.61 per deposit per week. You're going to add 1%. So you're going to get an extra dollar. Let me go ahead and bring my calculator over here. So here's our weekly contribution of $134.61 towards, say, a Roth IRA, or if you have a shorter term for your retirement goal, like FIRE, you could just invest it towards a taxable account, right? So you're putting $134.61. That 1% bonus from the recurring deposit, they're going to give you an extra $1.34. That's just an example right there. The sky's the limit right there. You can obviously add more. Now, there are other brokers that I've seen. Here we have Public. I have a referral link down in the comment section below as well. You get $20 if you sign up with Public. They're offering the highest high yield savings account that I've seen at 4.10%. But they also have a boost, but it's only on your IRA or Roth IRA accounts. So that's something that is different than what I've seen so far, right? No, SoFi is the very different one where they don't really specifically target your Roth IRA or IRA, but Public targets your retirement accounts. And the best one so far, if you're looking for the best match out there, it is Robinhood with Gold. Robinhood Gold gives you a 3% match on annual contributions, but as I said, it is only for your retirement account. So here, if you're depositing $7,000 on a year and you get that 3% match, that's $210. Robinhood Gold charges you $5 a month times 12. That's going to be 60. So 5 times 12, that's going to be $60 a year. So even if even if you're paying $5 a month for that Robinhood Gold, but if you're maxing out your Roth IRA contribution of $7,000, you're still going to be net positive $150 by the end of the year, just by maxing out your Roth IRA and having that additional 2% match. Otherwise, you get the 1% without. But I feel like if you're going to be investing towards your Roth IRA and IRA, Robinhood is going to be the better choice with that Robinhood Gold program for $7,000. If you're looking to retire a bit earlier, say, FIRE a little bit earlier, financial independence, retire early. I'm 39, going on 40 here shortly, and I'm looking to not wait until 59 and a half to begin using my capital for retirement. So SoFi's program looks a lot better in my eyes because I don't have any maximum contribution that I have to, the sky is not the limit. $7,000 is not the limit, right? The sky is the limit for this platform. So that has me eyeing SoFi a bit more. Right now, I am with Schwab. I just started an account with Schwab a little bit ago, deposited some capital. I've already got my bonus for using the platform. I believe I have to wait a year on the platform to transfer my capital off. That's completely fine, but I'm just going to take a look. If I do begin to making some small reoccurring investments, I could begin to get 1% unlimited. So we may begin to make some videos, making a portfolio and investments on SoFi. So let me know down in the comment section below, what's your platform that you're using? What are the perks that you're getting out of your platform? There's so many out there today, right? It's not just Vanguard, Fidelity, Schwab, Merrill, right? You have M1 Finance, Public, Webull, Moomoo, SoFi Invest. What else is out there? There's so much out there these days, right? Let me know down in the comment section below, what is the platform you are using? I would love to hear from you guys. I believe that is going to be it. We've covered the big tariff positive news that's kind of coming out. That's kind of got the market spiked. We did see some negative stuff out there again with pharmaceuticals, lumber, and semiconductors, but some of that also could have already affected the market here. We saw some of the healthcare pharmaceuticals already down on the day. So that news itself could have already triggered some of the loss to have already been taking place, but we'll see. I would like to see again on Tuesday or, throughout the week, I would like to see that gap that took place between Friday and Monday filled, retested. I would like to retest at least, say, that's not SP 500. I would like to see a retest of at least around 5,500 or so, right? It doesn't have to be, but I don't think we're gonna get it. You can already see that recovery off the bottom is already at 4.46%. So I don't know if we'll come back down and retest it. Right? I just don't know. You can see there's been periods of this where it goes up and then comes back down, but it just never comes back down. So if you're looking to wait and to invest, I feel like that would be the wrong thing to do. I myself added capital into the market today. I'm not waiting while I would like to see it retest. That's mostly just for healthy stabilization, knowing, hey, that's the bottoming out period, but I'm not going to wait and reinvest capital, right? I never sold anything out. I just kind of transitioned capital, buying into something that was hit a little bit heavier, and I'm still adding money into the market today, right? I sold all of my silver, moved that all into the accounts, and bought up some VU at the time. I think I just been buying up VU, but that's it. Okay. That is it. If you guys have any comments or questions for me, let me know down in the comment section below. Otherwise, I do appreciate everyone who has tuned in today. And that is it. Thank you all for tuning in. I will see you guys next time. Go down below, subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and bye-bye.